I guess now would be a good time to talk about this car. So, this is my 2002 Lexus IS300. Unfortunately, an automatic. I bought this car way back in 2018, I think it was. This is my second IS300. I had my first one was back in 2017, my first ever car. One of my, honestly, like, childhood dream cars to build into, not necessarily like a street monster, but like a very streetable car. Because I found out that it had the NA2J. So my goal when I bought this car was to wide body it, have a probably CDO9. Obviously a T56 would be great if I had the money. I might eventually, but manual, single turbo. Honestly, if possible, keep the bottom end completely stock. I ran into a dude who swapped a GE from an IS into a, I think it was a Caterham, and he put a turbo on it, a watered air intercooler. He said he was running a stock bottom end, stock head. He just ran like 13 degrees of time and he only like 6-7 pounds of boost. So nothing crazy, but I was like, that would make this car way more fun. Manual obviously is a must, but the idea of just having essentially a 4-door Supra is perfect. Something I could, there's not much room in the back seat, but there is some room. And the idea of keeping this car for a long time, maybe even having a family, I could still put the kids in the back, I can put groceries in the trunk, and still look good, sound good, have fun. So that's kind of my idea of why I like the IS so much. Obviously, it's a pretty decent platform for drifting. I'm not a big drifter. I like the grip driving, back roads, toge kind of vibes. But I bought this car with 180,000 miles on it. Obviously, it's at a 212, so there's a lot of miles on the chassis. If you look at the underside of it, it's very obvious that there's a lot of miles on the chassis. But at the end of the day, I am going through and I'm trying to fix the majority of the issues. I completely redid all of the suspension, so I have poly bushings in the front, and then I have all figs in the rear. The uppers are still in OEM style, but with poly bushings. Everything else is spherical, if I'm remembering correctly. The only issue with the suspension that I would change is on the fronts. I have the stock length sway bar end links, and that makes the front incredibly tight, and the rear is the aftermarket figs ones, so those are adjustable and those are set to the right height. So I need to get the, preferably I'd like to get the figs front sway bar end links as well, so I can adjust the stiffness of the front. That way it matches the rear. The car is a lot more settled in the corners. However, that being said, I'm only running all seasons on this car because I like to drive it in the winter too. That little break from the day-to-day daily driving to and from work, where this car has a decent audio system from the factory. I can just put on a song, cruise, have a good exhaust note, and just break up that day-to-day monotony. This car isn't exactly meant to be a grip driving car. It's meant to be taken out on the weekends, maybe on a Friday to work, and like I said, just enjoy the car. The downside of this car, realistically, is that there is so much to do on it. Not only does it need to be one color, I want to make it like a, Lexus has a color called infrared that looks absolutely phenomenal on their LC500 and their IS line, the 3rd gen facelift. And I would love it to be that color, but the issue with that is paint is still really expensive. That's a premium color from Lexus. I don't know how easily it's going to be for paint shops to be able to do that. And because there's more body pieces and stuff, that'll probably drive up the price of how much I can actually spend on a paint job. So that's like, do I want to wrap it or not? And that's still going to be quite a bit of money. But besides paint, then there's still obviously the manual swap, the turbo, and then there's stuff like interior dash is scratched up here. The steering wheel needs replaced, but once I swap to a manual, I'll probably go to an aftermarket steering wheel because I won't need these buttons. It's the only reason why I've kept this is because it's manual, and you know, I can downshift and upshift. I want a new hood because the hood has a dent in it and it's all beat to hell because it has over 200,000 miles on it. It's the OEM hood. There's a lot to do. The thing with this car though is I could have it exactly the way I wanted to by now if I didn't spend any money on either A, buying the GTI-R, or B, upgrading the GTI-R. And well, upgrading and fixing, because currently it still doesn't run. And so on that note, the GTI-R, it is a project that I plan on finishing. However, the last couple months I've been really dragging my feet on it. I was gone out of town for a month back in last summer, and it was 4th of July last year where we had friends over for Independence Day party, and took a couple people out on a drive, and I noticed halfway through the drive, I did like 2 or 3 pulls. Halfway through the drive, I had the slightest hint of rod knock, and I noticed that on the second pull that I did, when I was towards red line, foot to the floor, oil pressure light came on for like 3 seconds, and as soon as I got out of it, it went away. Oil pressure on the gauges looked fine in the center console. And what are you doing, dude? That's not how that works. Gotta pay attention. You driving, you have to pay attention to the other people who aren't paying attention. But the Pulsar is in the works. I have the engine out of the car. I told the engine shop that I would bring it by after I came back from being out of town, and something came up. I didn't take it to them that weekend, and then I just never got back around to it. And then now finally, when I wanted to give it to them, I think it was like beginning to mid-January, they said, "We are so busy, we literally cannot take any more work right now. Call us back in mid-March and we can get you in." So right now it's February 28th, and I have 2 weeks until I can potentially give them my motor to rebuild, because I talked to the builder and he said, hey, I'm also getting the low oil pressure light on when it's at idle. So pair that with the no start when warm issue, which I think I have figured out, and we'll probably be touching on that next video, because I plan on making videos again soon. The low oil pressure at idle, no start when warm, low oil pressure at high RPM, like there's a lot of issues with that car, and specifically that engine. So engine builder said, don't disassemble it, just take it out of the car, give it to me, I'll take it apart, I'll try to diagnose what the issue is. At the very least, I have another crankshaft that I'm going to give to him for him to replace the other kind of new one that was also bad from stock that he had to fix, hence why I've already had to do 2 other engine rebuilds. And he's going to take it apart, put in the new bearings, the new crankshaft. I'm probably going to have him do an oil pump as well. just because I'm getting low oil pressure, I might as well, because chances are that's what the issue is. And we'll go from there. So realistically, that's the plan, is I have to wait because I was lazy, I dragged my feet, and I didn't get done what I needed to get done. So it could have been done by now, but I'm a procrastinator. So that's where we're at right now. But I still have the Lexus. The Lexus has done me no wrong. She's always been super reliable. Now that I've said that, something's probably going to happen and it's going to suck, but small things at a time. The only money I've spent on this is tires and wheel spacers and an alignment since I bought the Pulsar, because I'm like, I want to get the Pulsar dialed and make sure it's reliable until I'm not going to spend any money on this car until I get the Pulsar reliable. Also, sorry for the wind. It is a very windy day right now, so whatever. But realistically, that's kind of the plan for the garage. The fit that you saw me take down a Tail of Dragon, I'm probably gonna have to take again this year, because ain't no way I'm getting that engine back in the span of like 2 weeks. And if I do, that would be amazing. There's a very small chance that the Pulsar will make it, but chances are I'll probably have to take the fit again, which it's a fantastic car. Love that car. Super fun to drive. Put it on some 200 treadwear and chilly, but it's unfortunate because it just doesn't sound as good, doesn't have all the noises, it's not as cool. But the car, the fit drives really nicely. The only downside with the fit, in my opinion, is the fact that it has electric power steering. That's what's nice about the Lexus, is the hydraulic power steering is nice and heavy, feels sporty. The fit's kind of like what my friend Levi, who has the S2000, what he says about his steering and his Honda is it's just kind of numb. It's light. It doesn't really inspire confidence. But that being said, the steering is very direct. The car responds incredibly well. That chassis is phenomenal. So it is what it is. I actually do have 4 cars. I have the Pulsar, I have the Lexus, I have the Fit, and then I have a Mazda 6 Speed 6. So Mazda Speed 6. That car is more or less abandoned, and I just need to get rid of it, and I haven't, because I keep telling myself when I'm going to work on it once the Pulsar is done, and the Pulsar just never gets done. So I'm probably just going to put it up for like $1,000. Somebody come and take it. But it has a bigger turbo. I think it's a digital. I bought it with all the modifications. I literally bought it as a daily because it would be fun, and then it was a not that reliable car, so that was not a great purchase, and I'm going to lose a lot of money when I sell it. But has a big turbo, water air intercooler, external wastegate, electronic boost controller, some fun bits and bobs. It makes probably 300 all-wheel, and it's a great Grand Touring car. Full-size sedan, big turbo, makes all the right noises, has the right power, and it's comfortable. Seating position was fantastic. The sound system in it was OEM, and it was Bose. It sounded pretty decent, but unfortunately the car itself just wasn't that reliable. So it's just kind of sitting there abandoned. It has a blown head gasket. The clutch pedal's broken because it has an uprated clutch, and the literal pedal assembly itself literally is cracked in like 2 or 3 different places. The motor mount bolts have sheared, so the front motor mount on it is no longer functioning, which is no bueno. There's just a lot of issues with a lot of my cars, and that's just kind of the way it is. And I have little to no motivation, and I definitely don't have the money to do all, or the space to do them all at the same time. So it just kind of is what it is. But I figured, hey, it's a really nice day. Let's clean the Lexus and take her out for a drive. And I was like, why not record it, you know? Like, I haven't put out a video in like 7-8 months because I haven't been working on the Pulsar, and I'm like, I have another car that I can use to make videos. So I'm showing you guys the Lexus today. The one downside with the Lexus is, if you go to my Instagram, which I'll link down in the description, the entire passenger side here, this was back in, I think it was 2020, early 2020. I was going to work early in the morning, and a deer jumped out from the woods and ran straight into the side of it. So it hit my fender right behind the wheel here, and then it just rolled down the side. Luckily, it didn't touch the recorder at all. That would have been very expensive. But it was just the fender, the mirror was gone, and both the doors. So with the wide body, I got the fender replacement, so that doesn't really matter. The mirror I replaced, and then the two doors, unfortunately, are silver. So that side of the car doesn't look great. This side of the car looks better, but still not great, because the car's like 3 different colors. So, but it's just nice to still take it. I mean, it still looks good. The stance is exactly what I want. Ride height is still low, but functionally high. The gap around the wheel arches is beautiful, and right now the car is sitting exactly how I want to. The MB battles look great on it. My second favorite wheel for this chassis. Ideally, I would like to put Advan GTs on it, but that's way out of my budget. But it's just fun to take her out and take her on a drive. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video where we're hopefully working on the Pulsar and actually doing stuff on it. We'll see how that goes, because I will probably have to do that when the garage door is able to be open, because I'm going to be in the fuel tank. So I don't want to fume myself out of my garage. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks. That's steep. I don't know if I can make that. Scrape. No scrape. Nice. Oh. Oh. Oops. At least it didn't smack my bumper, it smacked the under tray, so that's nice. That's what I get for going out on a drive on a windy day. It'd be fun to push this area, but like most of the areas around here, there's people that live on every single road. This is about as much as I can push it.